What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just got out of work, so just thought I'd make a video. I made two separate videos about antinatalism, and I had a few comments that from a few people that they were asking whether or not I was an antinatalist. So I don't think this video really needs I don't think this is going to be like a really long video or anything, but I guess it's kind of complicated. I never really considered myself an antinatalist. I didn't really know what an antinatalist was until I started watching videos on it. But I've always kind of been against having kids for no good reason. I mean, I just don't think there really is a good reason to have them. I think, in the grand scheme of things, let's say, there's a population decline. Let's say, let's say there's a population decline somewhere, like I believe in China. For a while they were having some problems. I don't know if it's gotten any better right now, but like I said, I believe China was having some problems with keeping up with the birth rates. Like, people were not having kids over there. So I think, I don't know, it was a while back, they were pushing for incentives for more people to have kids in China, and yeah, I guess people were not having kids over there, so we're trying to get people to have more kids. And I think it really just depends. I mean, me personally, I'm not going to have kids, not only just because of the way I grew up, but also I just don't feel in my heart of hearts that there's a good reason to bring another kid. I don't feel like in my heart and hearts there's a good reason to bring a baby. I don't feel like there's a good reason to be, a good reason to bring a kid into this world, because it's like, you look at how everything is, you look at how much suffering there is, you look at how many problems, we're having, especially in America. You look at just the state of everything, and you're just like in awe. At least I'm in awe. I mean, usually I thought I've seen it all. Usually I don't get, usually nothing surprises me anymore at my age, now that I'm 30. But, every once in a while there's something that happens that does surprise me a little bit, and things are just getting really, really bad, economically, and, economically as far as America and other countries, but also just mental, like people's mental states are just going down the drain, including mine, except it's not I'm not at the point as some other people are, where they're just completely gone, and they're going full on Joker, just killing people and going on rampages. I mean, that's, of course, that's always happened, but it just seems like people, ever since the pandemic started and ended, more and more people have just lost their minds. Like, I think the pandemic, and I think the economic situation that we're going through right now, I think it just broke people. I think for most normal people, it broke something in their minds. I just don't think, I think that some people, everybody has a limit. I've been through a shitload of things. Not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I'm saying, I guess I'm just saying I'm definitely resilient when it comes to, I've seen a lot. But I think there are some people that, everybody has a limit. I think some people are less resilient to psychological and physical pain. And I think that a lot of people now have hit their breaking point, I think, because of the pandemic, because of the economic situation we're facing, because of, all the bad news that we're surrounded by, the war in Ukraine and what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Israel with Gaza and everything like that. I just think people are just, they're just done with it. They're over it. A lot of people are going crazy, and in this world where it just seems like one bad thing happens after another, I just don't see why you would want to have a kid. Even if this world, let's say hypothetically, from from a human point of view, let's say hypothetically, because I guess let's say hypothetically that everything was perfect, because I guess hypothetically, everybody has their own definition of perfect, but let's say things were pretty good, like really good economically. There were little wars. Our economy's doing well. The government's not printing a shit ton of money that it doesn't have. People are able to afford houses and cars and take care of their families economically. Let's say, even if it was the best case scenario where everything's just going great, I still don't think it's wise to have a kid, because disaster is around disaster is always around every corner. If there's one thing I've learned is, no matter how bad it gets, it can always get worse. It's what saved me from disappointment. And I still get disappointed at times, but I've been let down and hurt so many times that I just it really, disappointment and pain doesn't really bother me anymore. It's like, just because I'm so used to it. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Am I an antinatalist? I've been thinking about it more since the last two videos, and I want to say, yeah, I am an antinatalist. I don't believe in having kids. I'm not going to ever have kids if I'm not going to ever be in a relationship with somebody who wants kids. Would I adopt one day? Possibly. I would possibly adopt. Why? Because we have so many kids in orphanages that nobody wants. They throw them in an orphanage, or they throw them at the fire. They drop off their baby at the fire station, and they don't want them. It's a damn shame, really, because they see that as an inconvenience to them. Most people really don't want kids. They say they want kids, but what they really want is their own version of them. They want a mini me, right? They want their own version of them, and they want a baby for the sake of having a baby that has their own genes, and they want to mold this baby into what they are, and they want to teach it everything they know, and this and that. I mean, that's great, but if you really wanted a kid, or if you really wanted a child, you would go to the orphanage. Same way you would go to the pound if you really wanted a dog. If you really wanted a dog, you would go to the pound, and you would pick out a dog from the pound, and you would raise it with love, and you would show it that, there's nothing to be afraid of, and not the whole world isn't bad. Okay? You would pick out you'd pick out a kid from the orphanage the same way you pick out a dog from the pound. You wouldn't add to, the population, the massive population that we already have right now. We're not going fucking anywhere unless there's a meteor shower or something like that. We're not fucking going anywhere. All right? We have 8.5 billion people on this planet right now. There's not, unless there's many catastrophic events, we are not going anywhere. I don't see the point. I don't see any reason why we should be having more kids. Why are we having more kids? Why are we bringing more kids into this miserable existence? So they can go to school. School can brainwash them into believing that they need to go to university. Then they go to university. Then they get out of university, and then they get into debt. And then they go to get a corporate job and be a corporate wage slave for the rest of their life. Like, it's just like, and that's the best case scenario too. I mean, college, university, like Millennial Steam put, it's like a lottery. It really is like a lottery, because you just don't know. I have friends that went to university. I had an old friend that went to Robert Morris University. He studied there for 4 years in architecture and design. I think he had like one job in that field in the entire time that he studied there, and he got out in his entire life, right, so far. He's like 29, I think. I don't know. We cut off communication years ago. He had like one he had one job and degree in architecture and design. And the boss was some baby boomer. Again, I'm not saying it was all baby boomers, but there are a lot of fucking bad ones out there. Some baby boomer asshole who was giving him a hard time, and he said, you know what, fuck it, like I'm not gonna put up with this, and he left. And that was the last job he had in that field. 4 years study at a college, Robert University, or Robert Morris University, I should say. My apologies. Robert Morris University. Studied there for 4 years, graduated, had one job, and that was it. So yeah, I don't see any reason to have kids. There's enough suffering in this world as it is. There's enough people on this planet as it is. We have enough slaves for the system. I mean, like our economy, especially in America, is not going to get any better. It's not. The future is looking hopeless as it is. I just don't see what goes through people's minds when they have kids. I mean, it's just like their lizard brain is activated, but their rational part of their brain is not. It's deactivated. It's like they're not thinking clearly. They're thinking with their little head, not their big head, and they're just mindlessly fucking and having sex and bringing kids into this world who may or may not want to be here. I know I don't want to be here, but I live my life anyway because, of course, you guys, I like making videos for you guys. I like educating you guys about narcissism. I mean, it gives me purpose. It gives me something to look forward to. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't want to be here. I don't want to exist. Like, I don't want to exist. I would have much rather have not existed. I know that's not the case for everybody, but why take that chance? Why bring a kid into this world who may or may not want to be here? I know plenty of people. I mean, just my ex-girlfriend's little brother, who me and her basically raised on our own, because her mom and her stepdad and her other dad was an alcoholic, so he wasn't in the picture when he was little. But then came in the stepdad, and the stepdad didn't want kids, and the mom was always working. So it's just like we raised him. Basically, did things with him, took him out to eat, took him to parks, took him swimming, wherever. And, I feel like, I did the best I could to at least be somewhat of a positive influence in his life. And, he turned out horrible, apparently, from, what my ex said. He hates his life. He dropped out of high school. He doesn't know what he wants to do, and he doesn't even want to be alive. He has no purpose. He's walking through life with no purpose. Why? Because the stepdad didn't want kids, and his original father, his biological father, was an alcoholic, and he was hardly in his life either. So shit can go south. Shit can go sideways real fast. I just don't think that. There's just no justification for me. There's no reason for. I can't. No matter how much I think, no matter how much I try to try to justify a reason for having kids, I just can't do it. Not when there's so many kids in the homeless shelter. Again, going back to the analogy, why, if you really wanted the kid, you would adopt. If you really wanted the dog, you would go to the pound, right? It's the same thing. If you really wanted the kid, you would go to an orphanage. If you really wanted the dog, you would go to the pound. So, I think I'm going to leave it there. This video is a little bit longer than I anticipated. Sorry about that. But yes, in short, I would consider myself an antinatalist. Thank you everyone who was watching this video. Feel free to put a comment down below, like this video, if you liked it. Feel free to share it. I have a few people that have shared my videos. I'm totally fine with it. Go ahead and share my video if you want. Yeah, that's going to conclude this video. Until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care.